know, I mean, even just the stories that people have shared, your stories, my stories, just seeing what I've seen from purchases I made 15 years ago, what the value, and it's fun to be able to look up what the values of certain coins will be, you know, and as you continue each year, it gets more and more interesting. But speaking of interesting, Silver Eagles here, my friend.
Now, the Silver Eagle from the limited edition set, remember we had the 8-coin set earlier?
Yes.
$659, completely and totally sold out.
Yes.
Okay, so that's gone, all 78 of those. The only other thing that I have right now from the limited edition set is the Silver Eagle. Now, I want to talk about the Silver Eagle for a minute. If you followed this program over the last 3 or 4 months, first of all, thank you very much. Secondly, I've talked a lot about this coin. One of the things that we do, having, like I said, been selling coins on national TV for over a quarter of a century, is we have to try to stay ahead of the game.
Sure.
And one of the ways that we do that is we have kind of what we best would describe as a war room. I mean, it's just all kinds of charts and computer screens and stuff. And what we do is we track, the United States government releases its sales every week. And so we basically track the sales trajectory of every coin put out by the United States government for basically the last 25 years. So we can see pretty much where a coin's gonna land. There's certain coins we know, like that reverse proof innovation dollar, we know that's selling out in one day. But other coins they make to order, like American proof Silver Eagles, like this coin right here. And so we don't know what the mintage is ahead of time. So what we try to do is track it as they're selling it. And what has happened since the San Francisco Mint proof coin, this is only the second time in the history of the United States government that they've done what's called a supplemental mint on a proof coin. For the last 25 years, the United States government has made all the proof Silver Eagles at the West Point Mint, the regular annual issue Eagles. Only 2 times in their history have they made a regular issue or annual issue American Silver Eagle with a separate mint mark. And this is only the second time, this San Francisco Mint. We started tracking this, and we generally know within 2 or 3 weeks basically how rare a coin's gonna be. And what we have determined through all of our analytics and algorithms and experience and everything else, that the 2019 S American Silver Eagle is going to be the rarest, proof Silver Eagle, annual issue Silver Eagle ever made by the United States Mint, period. And I've sold these coins individually. I had some NGC coins, we had some NX coins, and we have those basically at this point all sold out. The United States government, they're currently, I think, unavailable. The 2019 S's are unavailable from the United States Mint, and we've tracked that trajectory, and we believe these are going to be the rarest annual issue American Silver Eagles. That's the regular 2019 S. And that coin, we sold a couple thousand of them. We bought about 10% of the entire mintage. I think it's going to be one of the hottest, most collectible, most desirable coins put out by the United States Mint in the last quarter century.
Wow, that's a huge statement coming from you.
Now I bring this coin in, which is slightly different. It's the 2019 S, but it's out of this limited edition silver proof set from 2019.
Ooh.
So, as you can see, it says limited edition set. It's not that I'm calling it limited edition. The United States government is saying this is their limited edition. So they only make 50,000 of these. So this is one of the coins out of this set that you're going to see right here. Now, if you open that up, I have all the coins out of that because we certified the coins, as you can see. The limited edition United States government issues. So you had the silver dollar, you had the other coins. We sold that out for $659.
Right. Right.
So it's out of this set that we get this. So now I've got the rarest annual issue American Silver Eagle, but I've got it in a subset of value that makes it worth 2 times as much, 3 times as much, because now you're talking of a universe of only about 50,000 coins. And I can tell you right now, if they grade like the rest of the 2019 S's, they grade poorly.
And this is pure silver too,
of course.
Correct? So
this is the only time the United States government has made these limited edition proof sets for several years. This is the first time that they have done the proof set, the entire proof set, in pure silver. Wow. So that's why we had 78 of these sets certified for $659. Those are all gone.
Wow.
Okay, we sold those out today. I have only the Silver Eagle here for $239.95. Now, here's the problem. When I did the regular 2019, okay, which is going to be collectible, it's going to be desirable, it's going to be one of the most important Silver Eagles ever put out by the United States Mint, You know how many of those we did? I sold about 3,000 of those, and I had more than anybody else on the planet. The sum total, all of them in existence, in Annex first day of issue, will be 686 coins.
That's it.
Available exclusively here and available for $239.95. Look, when you're buying a collectible of this magnitude, of this rarity, of this collectability, one of the things that you want to do is make sure you get the best price. And of course you do, because you can only buy it here. Look, I could have made this $249, $279. I probably could have done $299 on this, given the rarity, given the collectability, given the incredible exclusivity, the fact that the United States government is only making 50,000 of these coins to begin with, and of those 50,000 coins, which is phenomenally rare, there's only going to be 686 that will be first day of issue that you're going to have with this from the limited edition set. Already, I think we've sold the better part of 30 or 40 or 50 of these. This could also be a one and done. I can't impress upon you enough the rarity of the 2019 S. Keep in mind, the vast majority of American silver eagles, proof silver eagles for the last 25 years, are made at the West Point Mint. Okay, are made at the West Point Mint. That's the regular issue. The SMint, for only the second time, the United States government has done a supplemental S-minted coin in the same year that they did a West Point minted coin. This one happens to be the S-mint, and that's the one that they put in the limited edition set. So now you have a coin that is phenomenal.
That's sold out, by the way.
That's already destined.
Yeah.
That's already destined to be what I believe the rarest proof American, rarer than any mint state American silver eagle, rarer than any annual issue proof American silver eagle, could quite possibly be even rarer than any of the burnished American silver eagles. If this ends up the rarest annual issue American silver eagle on mint state proof or burnished, this coin is a home run just as it is. But out of the limited edition set, now you've got this incredible subset of limited edition that is a one-time opportunity. There will never be more than 686. They will never be more than 686, and they're only available here. Now, I am giving you, this is a preview. The Mint doesn't even sell this set for 7 days.
Oh.
Okay? For 7 days. This is a preview, my preview price. These things could triple or quadruple or quintuple. Who knows what?
They're pure silver,
they're
too, on top
pure
of
silver.
that.
There's only 50,000 sets that are being done. Who knows what's going to happen to this? Well, we've locked in this price. Regardless of what happens, your price can never go up. Of course, you're going to be guaranteed delivery on this as well when you do this preview that we have of what I think is going to be the single best coin of the year. Could well be this coin right here. Certainly the set of the year, because it's the only pure silver set ever done by the U.S. government.
Okay, that statement right there being made by Mike Mezak for everybody right now at home, or even contemplating making this, making this part of your collection or your very first purchase is probably the biggest statement that he has made since the very beginning of the show. That means, like, I wish we could look into a future bowl. Unfortunately, that's impossible. But this man knows the business better than anyone. And he made that statement that you just made right there. And on top of that, remember, we're holiday season right now. So you have not just our regular return policy, which is fantastic on a normal basis. You have until the 30th of January, Mike, 2020. So a lot can be told just in that amount of time.
Absolutely.
Remember,
we have no idea what's going to happen then, but your price is delivery is guaranteed at this.
That's important in itself.
There was a coin that came out. We had a 2.5 ounce Liberty coin that came out.
I love these stories. This is going back in the past.
And so I went on there and this coin came out, and I knew it was difficult to grade, so I bought 10 of these from a guy, okay, a coin dealer, a reputable coin dealer. We'll call him a reputable coin dealer. And I pre-bought him. I sent him the money, and then, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, he says, yeah, it looks like they're going to be too hard to grade. I'm just going to give you your money back. I go, what do you mean you're going to? I bought the coins.
Yeah.
You're just going to, he says, yeah, whatever. If I can't make it, I don't care. That's what happens. It's called, he reneged on the deal. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time, folks. The guys renege. That will never, ever, ever happen here. When you get the coin, you get the price, you get your coin, whether it's one of our auto ships, whether it's one of our preview prices, it does not matter. Know what? Matter what. If this coin goes to $1,000, you will get your coin no matter what. So that's what happens. Once again, when you're shopping out there, now you're shopping from places, who knows where they come from. I mean, how many times have you ordered something and all of a sudden you get a package from China?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't even know, where'd that happen from? I thought I was buying from Georgia, you know? That's not what you do. And here's the other thing, because counterfeiting is so rampant, understand, these coins, all of the new coins that we buy, in other words, the new issue coins, they come from us. The provenance is unbroken from the United States Mint to me, to the grading company, to you, period. That is the only way that it happens. That's how we can guarantee grade. We can guarantee authenticity. We can guarantee everything about this because our word is our bond here. And that is absolutely, positively, 100% not the case out there in the marketplace. I've had people over the course of the years, people that have, like I said, reneged on deals out there. That probably comes to $1 million or more. People that they just won't live up to their word. And that's what you get here. You get my word, you get my experience, you get all that. And so when I tell you that this is going to be, I believe, the rarest annual issue Silver Eagle ever made by the United States government, that's huge. Now add in that it is not just the 2019S, but it comes out of the limited edition set as well. Now you've got collectability on an absolutely special, special plane.
And let's recap one more time for those who are just tuning in, because this is super popular. It's brand new today. It's the first of its kind. We have people that are tuning in at every moment. Mike, what makes this so special and different than any of the other American Eagle coins that we've offered before?
Well, what happens is you have Mint State American Silver Eagles. That's the regular coin, okay? That the United States government, they're going to make, 2019 Mint State American Silver Eagles, 45 million coins, something like that, is what they're going to make. Then you have the regular Proof American Silver Eagle. They're going to make 300,000 or 400,000, 500,000 of the Proof American Silver Eagle, something about like that. Then you're going to have the 2019 S. They're only going to make about 140,000 of these coins, maybe. 50,000 of those coins are going to come out of the limited edition proof set. About 50,000 of those coins are going to come out of this limited edition proof set. And that's what makes them certain. So you have a coin that's phenomenally rare to begin with. Like I said, what could quite likely be the rarest regular issue. Now, there are many, 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 many Proof American Silver Eagles that I can sell you for more than $239.95. Many of them that are more than $239.95. There's absolutely no doubt about that. There's many, many more. I mean, 1995, 96, 97, 98 in 70 condition, $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, $8,000. Wow. This coin is not just rarer than it. It's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times rarer than those coins just in general. Now make it out of the limited edition set, the only pure silver set that the United States government has ever done in its history, and now you've got a subset of what is already the rarest coin, so you've got the rarest of the rare is ultimately what you've got on this. And then first day of issue annex, which is 100% exclusive to us here at HSN, so you can only get this here, first day of issue annex, so you're guaranteed the lowest price because it's all $239.95. You're guaranteed 686 coins, each coin individually numbered. And while we sell lots of NGC and PCGS coins here, we do lots of that, okay? And those coins, will bring those coins out as well. In NGC and PCGS, they do not individually number the coins, unfortunately. And so what we're going to have is the opportunity for you to get a coin that you literally can't get anywhere else. A coin whose rarity is virtually unprecedented in modern American numismatics. And that's what your opportunity is. That's what you're getting here. And like I said, with only 686 only available here, the sets, like I said, 78 of the sets, and I heard that I think we have 5 of the sets left, and I'll show you those here, I think, in just 1 second. Oh, okay, 5 of the complete sets. We told people not to hang up, and they did.
Yes, that's what always happens.
Is what happens when we announce sellout on those. And so we have, I think, 5 sets, and I'll talk about those. That's the complete set with that. This is just the Silver Eagle portion of that. This is just the Silver Eagle portion of that we've got right here.
And Mike, we are extending just again a little more time because we have so many folks jumping tapping in. I mean, this is, again, a way of making history.
Sure.
When you think about it, right?
Well, when you look at collectible silver eagles or
From the
collectible
United
coins,
States Mint.
they talk about, first of all, you talk about rarity. How rare is the coin and how rare is it for the series? There's certain coins, for instance, where there's, 50 or 100 or 200 or 500 of the older coins, but nobody cares. They're weird coins or something like that. Modern issue coins. You get a coin, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. That's important. But you have to look, is it a popular coin? Well, the American Silver Eagle coin is the most popularly collected silver coin in the world today. And so when you look at the popularity of the coin, and then you want to get the rarest coin within that. So you're getting all of those things. Now you have the rarest subset of the rarest proof American Silver Eagle, which could well be the rarest annual issue Silver Eagle. It's absolutely going to be rarer than any of the Mint State coins, quite likely rarer than any of the burnished American Silver Eagles from 2006 on, which are normally the rarest ones of the bunch. You put that in, now you want to have grade. The higher the grade, the more it's worth.
And it'll come encapsulated again, just as is and
70,
completely
absolutely
protected.
perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what you do is now you have what's called conditional rarity. So now there's not 50,000 of these coins. Now there's 686 of these coins that meet first day of issue designation, that are going to be out of the limited edition, that are then certified absolutely, positively perfect. These big silver coins, even with the technology available today, even the tiniest little flaw is going to keep that from being absolutely perfect 70. And it adds significantly to the value of this coin, okay? Significantly to the value of this coin.
We want to say a huge congratulations. What a special purchase. Now, we did, in our first hour, we